Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lunta Di La Paulo. If this is your first time on my channel, I talk a little bit about economics, finance, business in general, a little bit of politics sometimes. In the past, I've done videos on scholarship for African students, as I was an international student from Angola myself. And currently, I am an accountant. Um, I'm a CPA, a small business owner as well, and I also do now apparently some form of investment banking. And today I want to show you, to walk you through uh, a financial model and how to make it dynamic. I'm going to actually just, build it from scratch, very simple, so that you actually get the most important piece, which is how do you make your financial model more dynamic and not static. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is to switch into the lecture mode, and I'm gonna hide my screen, and I'll show you first of all, this is what a finished model, very simple P&L looks like, your projections. I'm not gonna make very complex assumptions here on the revenue side or expense side, just the skeleton. Okay, I just want to give you the skeleton, and then you go build your own meat around it. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to notice is that I have a natural year here, uh, data here 0, and then I have my estimates of future years, from year 1 and forward, and I have what I call the life case. If I open my drop down here, you'll see my many assumptions that I have developed, right? And then if I change my scenario to 1, you also see my balance here will change accordingly. If I change it to 2, it also will change to reflect the change. If I had, an incorrect assumption on the normal case or worst case or best case scenario, that's also going to be reflected in my model, and I would just come, let's say, my projection should have actually be 25% here, and then if I go to the best case scenario, that's also will show. So, and then when I hide everything, I have the life case, and everything looks, as if nothing else is really happening in the background. So the question is, how do you get to this? Okay, how do you get to this beautiful screen? Okay, that's the challenge. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is to open a new Excel spreadsheet, and I'm gonna just copy a number of stuff instead of typing. Okay, I will copy my information here. Let's bring down the PNL, and I'm gonna bring the actual here, um, the actual balances, and let me drag these up here. So that's, and then I will have the projections here. Okay, and then this is my PNL, and I will start getting my assumption. So I'm gonna get the live case, excuse me. I'll plug it here on top. All right. So this is formula driven. Let me delete it. Okay. And then let me add some more rows here to give me more space to what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna go and borrow some of the assumptions here. Okay, let's just borrow all of these assumptions. Okay, so let's assume all these assumptions are constant, are the same, and nothing has changed. I need more space apparently, so give me a little bit there of your patience. So awesome. And I've added my assumptions here. So how do we codify this, live case that we want to display? I'm gonna highlight these so that, we kind of know, this is going to be changing. So I'm gonna use a really interesting Excel formula here. Actually, before doing that, why don't we add a place where we're gonna add our small drop down. We're gonna name it choose your scenario. Scenario. Okay. So, and we're gonna do so one for best, two for normal, and three for worst. And you can name it whatever you want. You can do hyperinflation, normal inflation, or deflation, whatever you feel like it's gonna work out the best. Okay, so let me put some blue here just to make it look nicer. I'm gonna, italize these stylistic preferences, nothing to do with your choice of how your Excel workbook should look like. So, um, and then what we have here, as I was saying, we have this Excel function, right? And then I'm choosing the scenario, the options that I want to be returned, right? So I'm gonna drag it across and then drag it down, and that gives me the life case that I want. So if I type 2, this should change to reflect everything that I have here. And if I type 3, that also should bring the live case. So, um, to make it less boring, what we're gonna do here is just go to data validation, right? Instead of typing, why don't we create a drop down, right? So data validation, okay, and then select a list, and then you go to your list, select this scenario. All right, so if I choose one, it changes. So how do I get my P&L, right? So I'm just gonna drag this here so that I have um, so that I have my net operating income already formatted. So what I'm gonna do here is to build my projection. So that's gonna be 1 plus the revenue growth that I'm expecting here over here. And then if I drag that again, I get everything that I need. So from here, right, so just the next part is just, a lot of stylistic things. I want this to look clean. So I'm gonna be hiding a number of stuff. The other thing you could also do if you have like a bunch of scenarios, you could just create a macro when you press maybe Control I, Control A or B, it execute what you want the model to do. So here I have all of my assumptions, and I feel like I'm in a good spot if I hide these, and if I change to 2, if you have any question to the accuracy of your assumptions, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna copy the net operating income here for this scenario, right? So scenario 2, we said it was normal. Scenario 1, we said it was best, and then we said scenario 3 was the worst. So if my scenario 2 normal gives me this net operating income, so if I change to scenario 1, which is my best, that's the net operating income that brings me, and then scenario 3 is my worst case scenario, and when I put them together, this is what I'm gonna see. So clearly my function works, and my model now it's much more dynamic, right? So the rest is really more stylistic choices you can make to kind of give yourself a little bit of pat in the back to feel good for the work you've done. If you want to go a little bit overboard, or a little bit be a little bit extra, right? I would plot this in a graph just to feel really great that I did an amazing work here, right? So insert, and then if I plot this in a graph, I have my net operating income. I'm not gonna make this graph super great. Net operating income uh, projections. Okay, so here, 1, 2, here, uh, here 1, 2, here 4, right? So with this, I'm done, and I can see, you know, depending on the scenario, right? Let's just move this chart into its own new sheet. So here you're seeing, you know, each year, depending on the scenario you have, you'll have different results. So this is, you know, this is just to help you get a little bit of glimpse on how you can make your model more dynamic and not have to crunch the numbers every time you have to change the expectations for your model. Everything should flow beautifully, should, you know, make you feel really good and proud of the work you're doing. So again, I wanted to share this with you, and I was really excited when I was building this. I was like, holy cow, I have to record this and share it. So we're done. We're done here. This was good. This was awesome. I hope you will join me in future videos. If you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, do subscribe, like or dislike if you didn't like it. It's fine. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. So have a good night, and I will now do a recording in Portuguese.